The day I saw the man I'd buried in my heart, alive and laughing on the other side of the tracks. My world didn't just stop, it shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. The invitation had arrived on a Tuesday, tucked between a utility bill and a flyer. It wasn't my name on that card, but it was his, the man I had mourned for 2 years. Seeing him wasn't like seeing a ghost, it was worse. It was seeing that the life I thought we'd both lost was still being lived, just without me in it. It began in the heat of Lekki, where the air smells of dried fish and possibility. Chidi had a laugh that sounded like a song I'd known my whole life. Our first date lasted 6 hours and 3 cups of coffee. He spoke of building cities that breathed. I spoke of capturing the light in the cracks. We were a match struck in the dark. He promised me a gallery in London where the walls would be as white as our dreams. I promised him a home where the silence wouldn't feel like a heavy blanket. For 2 years, we were our own country. He was the architect of my confidence. I was the artist of his peace. We were perfect, or so I chose to believe. We traded secrets like they were the only currency that mattered. Every dream we whispered into the Lagos night was a brick in the wall of the future we were building. Even the jollof tasted better when shared from his plate. It was the love of the movies, the kind that makes you forget that the credits eventually have to roll. I used to wake up early just to watch him breathe, convinced I'd found the one person who finally understood the frantic rhythm of my heart. But almost is a precarious ledge to build a life on. The first crack was silent, a phone call taken in the hallway, a dinner where his mind was 1,000 miles away. The silence between our messages grew longer, heavy with the things we weren't saying. I felt him receding like a tide, leaving me stranded on a cold, drying shore. He spoke of family legacy and tribal expectations. He didn't say he didn't love me. He just said his love wasn't enough to fight the life his parents had already planned. He was a man caught between the woman who knew his soul and the family that owned his name, and in the end, he chose the name. He chose the path already paved. The loudest sound in a failing love is the silence that replaces the laughter. We were 2 strangers sharing a table, mourning a ghost that was still sitting right there. I realized then that I had been loving his potential while he was merely tolerating my reality. I had been shrinking myself to fit into the spaces he left for me, no more. I didn't scream. I didn't beg for a love that was already gone. I simply packed the parts of me I had left and chose to walk away. I chose myself. Walking away isn't about the distance you put between you. It's about the weight you stop carrying. I left the ghost of what we could have been behind that closed door. I learned that solitude isn't a punishment, it's a sanctuary. I rediscovered the girl who used to dream of London galleries before she met a man who promised to build them for her. I didn't need him to build my gallery. I built it myself, in the heart of the city that once saw me break. I am the architect of my own life now. The past always calls when it sees you finally moving on. The question isn't whether you'll answer, but whether you still recognize the voice on the other side. My answer is silence.